The first arc of our story. It begins when 6 individuals meet by chance in the sleepy, quiet town of Anger's Headwatch on the island of Scione. Not too long after they all meet, they find themselves investigating trouble that has been harassing the town. This results in them being captured by said mercenaries, but the group discovers that 1 or 2 of those mercenaries aren't all as vicious and dangerous as they would have expected. Before they were able to leave, however, they had to fight together, along with the leader of the mercenaries, to defeat Judge Krithos. After returning to town, they are approached and are hired by a smarmy guado named Gale, being sent to Rundown Manor just outside town, searching for a mysterious orb that was sought by the guado. Upon touching it, though, each member of the group experienced something they could not explain. Ultimately deciding they would be keeping it to themselves, they lie to Gale, saying they couldn't find it, and instead are given a second job, the handling of a woman named the Robin, who was revealed to be Elric's aunt. Leaving Scione by means of the ship, the Humming Mirage, the gang was off, heading to the Pythia Peninsula. Along the way, the party encounters a derelict ship on the high seas. After a bit of fighting with unexpected occupants on board, the contents of the boat are revealed and searched, recovering some treasures for themselves. DFA specifically, claiming first an egg of a chocobo. The 5 survivors they brought back turned out to have gone quite mad, resulting in the party saving the day at the cost of the ambushers' lives. During the final leg of their trip, some of the party are transported inside the orb somehow. After a nightmarish time, they were finally able to escape, though none of them are entirely sure of how they actually did it. All they know was that Del seemed to slip into a trance-like state and was able to find the means to get them back to the ship alive and safe. It was not long after that the party found themselves arriving in the port city of Ethelni. Searching the city, shopping to upgrade some gear, and taking notice of strange happenings, the party eventually takes their search outside the city into the woods nearby, discovering the Robin's temporary dwelling. Everyone winds up noticing she has been missing from here, and their best lead points them towards one place, a no longer used cinnabar mine in the mountains. Fighting off gnolls, undead, and other creatures, the party find the Robin and free her, as well as Vizel, the Mind Flayer, and his Manticore companion. After all of this, and once returned to her dwelling in the woods, Robin reveals that Vizel worked for the man who killed Elric's mother, and so too does the party's employer, Gale. Upon returning to the port, looking for the Humming Mirage, the group instead find 3 strangers who inform them that the Humming Mirage will be unable to ferry them the rest of the way on their quest. But the 3 strangers were left behind to get them the rest of the way, and once the group was ready to depart, they would be ready. The gang was able to set sail to the south to continue their journey. It is only after departing that Mogzio learns that the ship was stolen, from smugglers no less. Del quickly discovers smuggled goods in the ship's hold around the same time, and later, Elric pieces something together quickly during dinner, but Mogzio lets him know that he is making it up as they go along. During their trip, the party encounters a strange weather phenomenon where it went from raining to frigid winters, during which they departed the ship towards exploring what appeared to be a lighthouse surrounded by derelict ships. Strangely enough, some of the party began finding themselves having gaps of memory, though they couldn't place what was going on. This continued as they progressed into the lighthouse until they retreated back outside, where Hyacinth heard a snow rock flying around them. This caused DFA to flee towards the ship. On their way, the snow rock flew over them, startling DFA and the others into the hulking remains of one of the ships. After escaping the rock, Del is able to use a scroll to dispel DFA's missing memories, though Hyacinth still is missing some of their own and will require another scroll to fix. Once the party reached the Oracle's Island and entered the town of Trigona, they made their way through the districts, then took a trip to the Oracle's sanctuary. Each of the party gets to ask a question. Answers they receive come with weight and room for interpretation. Though upon leaving, Elric and Hyacinth spot a hooded figure disappearing into the crowd. Del returns and fixes Hyacinth's missing memories, and the party gathers to discuss plans about Gale. Though the next day, during a trip to the Oracle once more, Corey, Hyacinth, and Del learn something beyond troubling, and accidentally also reveal something just as dangerous, leaving the three in a precarious situation. DFA and Moxio departed earlier that morning looking for Elric, finding him unconscious, waking him, and learning that he was ambushed after splitting up from the party the day before. From there, the group made their way to where Gale had been staying, with hopes of peacefully getting paid and going from there. However, after being paid, DFA snuck back into the house, discovering Gale had a prisoner. Alerting the others caused them to break back into the house, starting a fight, which the gang was winning until Gale teleported away, leaving them with a new friend, Montblanc Centurio, leader of Clan Centurio. After all that is done though, Del is drawn away from the group, and once away, someone passes by and says a phrase that causes them to fall into a standby mode as he collapses, and the stranger's allies quickly kidnap Del before the others could notice. After the kidnapping, the others hurried down to the docks to see if Del was being kidnapped by boat, though unfortunately nothing concrete was found. Deciding that nothing could be done there, the group head back to the ship, deciding they would make a plan there. Though, once they arrived, Victoria informed them they had a visitor, Marcel, a priest from the temple, pleading with the party to find the Oracle, who had still not returned after the guards took her away from the temple during Del, Hyacinth, and Corey's visit. The party decided it was late enough they would return to the island and investigate the Oracle's home. Sneaking around the perimeter and then taking out many guards, they were able to sneak inside, then up to the Oracle's bedroom. Doing so resulted in an unorthodox conversation, ending with the party kidnapping the Oracle and rushing back to the ship with the intent to leave the island post-haste before anyone was the wiser. Back on Scione, for a brief period, the group were able to work on some of the town renovations that Hyacinth was hoping to get done. DFA was even able to hire someone to help in the training of Egonides, her chocobo. Elric spent the time crafting a new great sword with the help of Moxio. Hyacinth spent a few days with Corey, clearing out the brothel, and started on preparing it for reopening. The gang also was able to spend some time in their home mansion that was finished while the group was gone. Montblanc was able to share what intel that he had regarding the party's search for both Gale and Del, letting everyone know that they would have to head to the Empire to find both their targets. Moxio decided they would likely leave on the morrow. After a week of travel south, the party on their newly named ship, the Fuckboat, have reached the Empire, specifically the merchant canal city of Meloth. Making port, the group head into the city and investigate for information relating to a few hunts that Montblanc had given to Moxio before they left. So far, this has led the group to a young man named Antony, who is part of a faction called the Children of the Old Sea. Claiming that they wish to restore Meloth to an independent city-state, free of the Empire's influence, Antony requests that the party help him by investigating a safe house in the woods while they search for one of the marks in the area. Getting intel from an Imperial, Hyacinth lured not only the intel, but access to the berserk arrows the Imperials were working with. The next morning, the group went to the woods because of the need to find keys for Antony. They carried on to the safe house, finding a wounded human who passed out upon Hyacinth, asking if they were keys and asking if Antony sent them. Somewhere in the Empire, after coming back to consciousness after his capture in Trigona, Del found themselves trying to escape their imprisonment. After a few days of trying to break out of their cell, they were visited by a strange character named Vinith the Fae. This Fae was under the service of the time god, Zamala. This Fae also offered assistance and gave it freely, melting the bars of the cell, putting the guards to sleep, as well as with dancing lights as a guide. Del was free and on their own, running through the night, going who knew where, trusting only the word of this Fae's claim that it would lead to where they needed to go. After traveling quite a distance, Del unknowingly startles Hyacinth, Corey, and Elric, causing Hyacinth to fire a whistling arrow nearby and startling him in return. After reconnecting and apologizing for being taken, the group head back towards Milov. Though before reaching the town, they come across the bear, which Hyacinth quickly, with the help of Elric, was able to calmly approach, remove the berserk arrow, curing it of the ailment, and after some convincing, Hyacinth adopted the creature. The next morning, the party decides to go and search for the invisible creature, which takes them out into the woods. Following the tracks, Corey believes they are tracking a chimera, which, of course, leads the group following the tracks bravely, which took them to the other side of the city, doing a full loop, finding themselves back near where the party first met Antony. Searching the place, Hyacinth and Corey discover a trapdoor. After investigating, they find themselves in the Bel Iblis waterway, the sewers where Keyes mentioned the traitor to the Children of the Sea would be heading. While exploring, the party encounters a booby-trapped clockwork soldier that attacks them. Diathe destroyed it with ease, and after that, Hyacinth leads the group onward, disabling 2 traps that would have awoken 2 more of the clockwork soldiers. The party continued after Diathe and Egamedes, who dropped down into the lower levels of the sewers, thankful that Hyacinth was able to disable the pressure plates, preventing more clockwork soldiers from awakening as they progressed. Corey was able to lead the group after the chimera, narrowing down its location. The group is confronted by an unknown Elohelm, who summons the chimera, trapping them in a large room of the waterway. After defeating both the chimera and Elohelm, the party climbed to the higher level to find a hoard of treasures, and quickly proceed to store it all in their bag of holding. While the party rested after their battle, Elric hears whispers that awaken him from his sleep. The whispers are not attached to anyone in the area, and they spoke of promises of dark and terrifying roads untraveled. Once back in town, the group decides to partake in a bit of downtime while they wait for the Children of the Old Sea to arrange the meeting with their contact to get them to Gale. Elric worked at the blacksmith to earn some gil, as well as make some trinkets for the party. Hyacinth trained the guards with snacks, as well as trained Daffodil the bear, eventually buying them some armor. Diathe was a mail mogul for a day, making a bit of gil in the process. Mogzio had a double that became a problem for a week. Corey got a magical family tattoo, and Del studied in a local library, hoping to expand their knowledge, as well as told some fortunes for children to practice his abilities. After the 2 weeks of downtime, and during the summer solstice festival, the party took part in friendly competitions, partied with the locals, and made quite a bit of gil in the process. Eventually, all these events lead up to them going to the Marcus Manor, where they cleaned out an entire auction, acquiring a whole bundle of goods. On their way returning to the party though, Del was pulled aside by the Marquis himself and informed that he was the contact they were meant to find. The Marquis made quick time, informing Del that the plan was they would take advantage of a distraction that was coming and flee to the harbor. It wasn't long after that conversation that the diversion came. Screaming, noises from outside, a guard rushed into the manor of the Marquis to announce that the city was under siege. Monsters were attacking all over the city, causing everyone in the manor to panic and start rushing out to try and flee for safety. The city of Milov has fallen under attack. The party must fight their way through the monsters to the docks. Once they arrive at the port, they make their way to the tower in the bay, meeting the elusive Zora, who teleports them all to a forest where Gale is waiting for them. After a lengthy battle, Gale's fate is decided once and for all. However, not in any way that the party would have planned. After the battle, Hyacinth stabbed Gale, causing DFA to activate the return crystal given to her by Zora, but unbeknownst to her. Moxio anchored Gale and himself to their location, stranding the two behind as the others returned to Zora's tower without them. Back in the tower, without Moxio or Gale, DFA is frozen in panic that her friend is missing. Hyacinth breaks down, losing what they believe is the answers to find their brother. Corey, Elric, and Dell watch on in shock, unsure what to do with this unexpected turn of events.